Hi, I'm Alex and this is Tank Tested. Today we're visiting one of the few dedicated aquascaping shops in the entire United States. It's called Brooklyn Hardscape and they opened just a few months ago. In just a second, I'll be handing over the reins to the shop owner Kevin Kelly so he can give you a tour of some of his favorite aquascapes. And at the end of this video, I'll be giving you a discount code that you can use on everything on brooklynhardscape.com, so stick around for that. Here's Kevin to give you a tour of his shop.
My name is Kevin Kelly. I'm a professional aquascaper and I own Brooklyn Hardscape, which is a dedicated aquascaping store located in Bushwick, Brooklyn. The showroom is appointment only, but we also have open houses once a month and events. The shop right now contains grow out tanks and different samples of what we do as an installation company, as well as learning tanks and workroom, grow out room, and dry goods store. I prefer lots of aquariums with riverstone and more simplistic designs. As I've gotten older as a professional aquascaper, simplicity is more important to me than the more complex aquascapes. So this bonsai-inspired aquarium is designed to be viewed from every angle. This was a hardscape that I originally did for Dustin of Dustin's Fish Tanks. It was supposed to be a bonsai tree. I went a little bigger and thicker than I intended it to be. I was having way too much fun. I wanted to showcase the fact that I'm using beginner plants in a high-tech setup. I'm pumping CO2. I'm using aqua soil, heavy fertilization. It's supposed to be as fun an aquarium as possible. It is meant to be viewed from every angle. I tried to hide little pieces of different things in different places. And surrounding it together is some dark riverstone and then even tinier pieces of pebbles of riverstone. It's just a fun tank. I thought it would be a perfect 360-degree view for the center of the studio. The name of this tank is Estrus. It's in an ADA 45P with a carpet of booths that leads into mini aromatica and an unknown green rotella with black hillstone. I try to make everything look as cool as possible, and definitely this dew device is a great way to add oxygen to an aquarium that has sensitive shrimp or fish. It's a constant bubbling device. A little bit of air gets trapped into it that slowly dissolves into the aquarium. The dew device also has a very, very nice aesthetic to it. It looks pretty. I like the way that the air gets trapped into it. All of these plants are still in the midst of converting from immersed to submersed. The tank is about 3 or 4 weeks old. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and I'm excited to see as it colors up and grows. This UNS 3-gallon aquarium is actually what I jokingly call the junk tank, or my left foot. It is a piece of wood that was in a cloche, which is a mini terrarium where I just kept throwing trimmings from different mosses and microferns that attached to the wood. And it turned out to be an okay aquarium. Seems very popular with people. To the left of the tank is some of the books that I use on the regular for inspiration or information. I'm still a big fan of books. So you have everything in there from a lot of the Japanese woodblock prints to color theory books, dictionaries on aquarium plants, and competition books. The girl that I'm dating, she surprised me and took me to an arboretum up in Long Island, and I loved the jewel orchid room. So this aquarium is inspired by a jewel orchid room in a greenhouse. All the plants here are going to be either pink or red, and I'm using red fossilized wood. So it's going to be just a big tank of clown puke. This 25-gallon cube, it's 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters. It's an antique. It's a GLA aquarium when they were still making aquariums. It doesn't really have a name, and it's a bunch of found stone from Long Island. They're all river stone. The main piece is 81.5 pounds. on the stone itself is giant willow moss, so it's basically going to be another beginner level plant tank. Once it's fully grown in, everything will be moving in a very, very heavy flow and swaying with the flow of the water so that you create almost a vortex of plants. My mini vase, which I call M's Cliff, is another simple little aquarium with some boosts and physidins, microferns, with baby dwarf tears growing immersed on the top of the cliff. It's filtered by a Dennerle canister filter. CPDs are the fish in there with Japanese trapdoor snails and an Amano shrimp. We have a combination of plants that come from greenhouses or our own aquariums, and it's important to us for certain plants to convert them for our customers before we sell them. Our pre-sort tank is one of our conversion tanks where we have CO2 and medium lighting, where we take a lot of the immersed growth that we've got and convert it to submersed growth so it's easier for the customers to put it in their tank. This 150-gallon show tank is one of our grow-out tanks for high-tech plants. It was made by customaquariums.com. If you need a high-tech stem plant, this is where we grow it out and sell it. This 75-gallon grow-out tank is where we dedicate for hobbyists who donate plants to the shop for store credit. Right now we're trying to figure out what some of the species are. We grow them out, we make sure that they're algae-free, disease-free, before we put them up for sale. So once the plants increase in mass by 300%, we identify them and then we'll put them on the website. This Mr. Aqua 12-gallon long tank is a good example of converted plants that are now for sale. It's just to showcase our Nubius and other small rhizome plants. It's a great little display setup, and eventually it is what all of our grow out and display tanks will look like in the future. Right now we have 4 types of stone for sale. We have the Icelandic lava rock, which is one of my favorites, and of course dragonstone and Siru, and then Riverstone. Right now all we have in the Riverstone is white and gray, but Riverstone really, if you want to have the most natural look, I still feel that's one of the most beautiful. For dry goods, we are very, very dedicated to using products that only I would use in an aquascape. If I had a choice of anything to use right now, Tropica is my top of the list. I find that it is the highest quality for what you get. I think their products are exceptional. The products that we carry right now, Tropica soil and fertilizers, Ultim Nature System aquariums, as well as Langdon aquariums, Viv glassware, and our CO2 products are all CO2 art, which I think is the most affordable and best products on the market. I do enjoy when people come to visit the shop because when you go in, this is a warehouse, so we have a wood shop to the right, a floral designer to the left, and you come to the door of the shop and here we have a nice clean white brick, white ceiling, and white floored space. We try to keep the industrial look, but we also want to make sure that the things that we have in here are things that you'd like to have in your house. My name is Kevin Kelly. I'm a professional aquascaper, and I'm owner of Brooklyn Hardscape and brooklynhardscape.com.
So that was Brooklyn Hardscape. Now, you might be wondering what that discount code is that I mentioned at the start of this video. Well, I'll tell you in just a second, but first I want you to promise to stick around to the end of this video because I want to give you a little inside look at how the Tank Tested YouTube channel is made. So here's the deal. From now until February 7th of 2019, when you go to brooklynhardscape.com, enter the discount code TANKTESTED at checkout. That'll give you 10% off your entire order. Now, I'm not getting a kickback for that. This is something that I'm purely doing because I want to support our hobby. So go to their website, see if there's anything you like, and be sure to enter Tank Tested at checkout. Finally, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. Without them, this video would not have been possible. And that's why I asked you to stick around to the end of this video. To make this video, it cost me about $200 in travel expenses and more than 40 hours in production time. That is not money I'm going to make back on AdSense, and I am not paying myself. The only way this makes sense is if people like you support me on Patreon. That's why I want to thank Ginger Graves and JCW. Without their support, this video would not be possible. So consider supporting me on Patreon, and with that, I will see you next time.